Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Had a little time this afternoon, so I left Omaha about 2 o'clock, maybe 2:30. We just got to Osage Wildlife Management Area. It's by Tecumseh, Nebraska. It's about an hour and 15 minutes south of where I live. It's maybe 4 hours before sunset. I wanted to go in this afternoon, just kind of walk slow, do a little preseason, early season turkey scouting, see if we can hear a bird gobble, maybe something good happens. If not, maybe we can put a bird on the roost tonight for a turkey hunt tomorrow morning. We just got out of the Jeep. I got all my stuff on, got my turkey vest on. I put one hen decoy in the pouch. I don't know if we'll end up setting it up or not. Got the camera bag, a little tripod stand, a chair, the bow in a sling. I'm gonna throw that on over my shoulder. Wanted to show you guys kind of what it looks like from the parking lot up here. When I was getting dressed at the Jeep, I did hear a gobble down here in the bottom of this canyon. I'm gonna walk down this little road right here and then start working my way back along the other side of the trees right there. Just work slow and see if we can get down. I know there's a little field down here that the turkeys like to hang out on, so gonna sneak in and see if something good happens. Looks like the grass is finally starting to turn green here. It's April 1st and winter just did not want to let go this year. We actually got snow in Omaha last night, so just driving that extra hour to the south. It stayed a little warmer last night. I didn't get a chance. It's Saturday. I didn't get a chance to go turkey hunting this morning because, well, it was like 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so just thought it might be better to wait till the wind died down around noon and then come out this evening and try it for a couple hours, and at the very least try and put a bird on the roost tonight, and then maybe sneak in tomorrow morning and see if we can get close. When you come across it's like a little dam right there. There's a stream that runs under it. When you come across the dam, you have the choice to either go straight in or turn left right away on this and follow this little draw down. I've hunted both places. The only reason I'm going to turn left is right now is I heard that bird gobble over here, and a lot of times in the morning when I come out here they're roosted down in this little canyon over here, so I'm going to work our way up quiet and see what happens. In the last couple of years, this little field right here was alfalfa, and it was a really fun place to turkey hunt in the morning. It looks like last year they let it grow back up to CRP basically. So we're gonna kind of work our way up along this little tree line and then dump over into the draw. I'm guessing that bird gobbled on either that field edge on the other side of that draw or down in that draw. That's about how far away I thought it was when I heard it. I think we actually might just wait here for a little bit and see if he gobbles again. Whenever I can, I'd rather let them gobble on their own than call to them and try and force a gobble, because then you give away your position. If they'll gobble on their own, then I try and get a little bit closer to them and set up and then see if they'll make a mistake. So just gonna take a minute here, listen, see snow a little closer to where he is. Alright, I've been here for about 10 minutes just listening. I heard a couple hens. Sounds like they're up on that ridge. You know, go down. If I went down through this canyon and then up the other ridge, they're up on that ridge somewhere. And I heard that bird gobble about the same distance away, a little farther down in the creek bottom. So I think we might just come over this hill nice and slow, get down in this draw right here. I call it a draw, some people call it a holler, some people call it a canyon. And then do the same thing, just stop, listen, just gonna work slow and quiet, get down in this little bottom down here, and then wait another 10 minutes or so, wait another 10 minutes or so to see if I can hear them calling again. One thing you definitely don't want to do on public land is chase hen calls. Like, there's one parking lot over here on this piece of public land. Our Jeep, my Jeep's up in that parking lot, the white Jeep. There's another parking lot on the exact opposite corner of the public land. If you draw a line straight across the bottom of the property. And I have been hunting this little field in the morning and had hunters come in from that other side. So I don't know that those hens that are calling up on that ridge are actually hens, or they could be hunters that parked on in the other parking lot, came in from the other side. So it just doesn't make sense in the spring to chase a hen that's calling on public land, because 97% of the time it's going to be another hunter. So I'm going to sneak down to this draw, and then we'll figure out where to go from there. We're just about to the draw. As I was coming around the corner of this, looks like this was a cornfield last fall. The one side of it is cut down really short. So it might be a spot that might be productive to put a decoy set out in the morning. It's a possibility of a place to hunt in the morning. I know it's really thick cedar trees back up in there, and a couple times that I've hunted, 3 or 4 times that I've hunted down here, the birds like to roost just on the private land across the fence right there, across the creek. So I did hear that bird gobble again. It sounds like they're down here on this little access road. There's an access road down here that Game and Parks uses to get around the property, and I think maybe this farmer, the guy that farms this, might use it too to plant some of these fields. So I think we're safe to cross this opening and get up in this draw, and then maybe get up to the trees on the other side of it, the field edge on the other side of it, and make a decision from there. Just came down from the edge of that cornfield. I actually started following the edge of the woods right here. This is where that little access road goes in. Those birds gobbled again. They're probably a couple hundred yards down here. It wouldn't surprise me if they're actually on this access road. So I'm going to move slow and quiet up to the corner. The problem right now is there's not really any cover. Everything hasn't got green yet. It hasn't greened up, so I kind of want to stay on the back side of this wood line to help me sneak around the corner just a little bit. I'm just going to see if we can maybe cut the distance in half, and then listen again and see what happens. Alright, we were out turkey hunting at Osage Wildlife Management Area this afternoon, and we just came down this little trail right here to this little section of woods. This is like an access road, so it's something that a lot of people would walk on. And I have a A lot of people tell me you can't find antlers on public land when you go shed hunting. So I wanted to show them what we found. This was 3 feet off the trail right here. It's a pretty decent 4x4. That's actually a good buck for public land. You know, there's a lot of people that would shoot that buck. So I don't know if it's a buck that got shot during hunting season and they just didn't find it. It kind of baffles me that it's like 3 feet off the access road, but if you go out, this piece of public, if you go out and look, you can definitely find them. This piece of public land's an hour from Omaha, an hour from Lincoln, maybe 5 minutes from Tecumseh. Every time I come down here to turkey hunt, there's other people down here. It's a race to get down here in the mornings to turkey hunt. So just goes to show you that if you walk slow and keep your eyes open, you can definitely find antlers on public land. So let's pick this up, take it with us, and we'll see if we can get closer to those turkeys. Okay, we're on the road in the creek bottom. I crossed the draw back there. Got up on the little minimum maintenance or access road right here. Sounds like there's a couple birds up on the ridge up there, and a couple birds down in the creek bottom down here. I think I'm going to try and sneak up to that cedar tree right there where the road turns and see what it looks like. No, I'm trying to find a place to set up so I got to be able to draw my bow if a turkey comes through here. So I'm trying to find a place to give me some cover, some camo. I'm just going to keep going slow and easy. I'm actually just going to leave the camera on. Maybe we can hear gobbling. He's been gobbling pretty consistently about every couple minutes. So the one in the creek bottom has. We might be able to set up right here and yelp a couple times and get him to come and check on it. I don't really like to call a ton, especially on public land, because these birds get called to all the time. Yeah, he's definitely in the creek bottom right down here. Be nice if we could get him out on this road somewhere. I know there's a clearing up by those cedar trees right there. There's a little clearing just on the other side of them, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there or not without spooking them. It doesn't sound like he's moving anywhere. I wonder if he's strutting on that ridge right there. Let's see if we can get up to these 3 little cedar trees right here. Just use them as cover to try and get that much closer. I think he's down on the creek bottom down here, but he's probably right on the border, public and private. He definitely fires off though about every couple minutes. Vocal.
say he's probably 100 to 125 yards in front of us. We might actually be able to get to those clearing, to the edge of that clearing. Doesn't seem like he's moving. There's a little ridge here ahead of us that's kind of blocking his view from us. I think he's just on the backside of that ridge somewhere. Okay, I'm going to move forward just a little bit, and then I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, we made it through those thick cedar trees and out to this clearing right here. I set a hen decoy in the clearing. Toms were gobbling in the creek bottom back behind us. And then I just tried to tuck us into this cedar tree right here. So we have a lot of cover behind us. It's really steep back there. Hopefully the birds won't try and get behind us. I'm gonna put the camera on a tripod so I can turn it on if something good happens. And I'm gonna yelp a couple times. There's actually hens back behind us somewhere back here. So just gonna get set up and see what happens. It's been a couple hours since we saw that bird up on the ridge over here. We have a bunch of toms gobbling on the ridge on the private land back behind us. They're probably maybe 150 yards away. It's about 45 minutes before sunset, so I'm guessing they're not going to come down off of that ridge. They're probably going to fly up to roost on that ridge tonight. So that being my calculated guess, I wanted to sneak back in here in the morning, but that place we set up in was kind of open this evening, so I went over to the cedar tree right there. It looks like I don't know if it was Game and Parks Commission or the guy that plants this field knocked or cut it out, knocked it down. So I went over there and cut some of the limbs off of it and used some of those limbs to kind of brush in our little hide right there. I also cleaned up some of the leaves in there so I can move my feet around a little bit without making a bunch of noise. And clipped a little branch off that cedar tree and made a little bow hanger out of it so I can hang my bow there. And then I can also hide the tripod in there. The sun's going to be coming up back behind us in the morning in the east, so that should be even better right there. The turkeys will be looking back into the sun if they're out on this field. So it'll kind of black us out back in there. I'm going to get everything packed up and start working my way back so we can get a good night's sleep and try and be the first one here in the morning. I'm guessing that if we want to be the first ones in the parking lot, I usually am the first one in the parking lot, but it means I gotta leave Omaha about 4 o'clock or so in the morning, maybe 4:30 at the latest. I'm gonna get my rangefinder out, shoot some distances across this field, and then figure out where I want to set the decoys up in the morning. I'm guessing with the birds going on roost back up here on the ridge, if they fly down, they're probably going to fly down into the creek bottom. And if we can call them up to this little opening. It wouldn't surprise me if they come up here and strut in the morning. I hope they do. Well, also wouldn't surprise me if I get here in the morning and 3 other people have the same idea and we all have decoys on this field when the sun comes up. But I was thinking if I could get the decoys up against this field edge somewhere. That would be the view back to the cedar tree that I set up just now. So even right now it's pretty good blackout. Well, the reason I like to do that is then I can come back later, even a couple weeks from now when shotgun season opens, if I want to get my shotgun out and come down here. I can use it, other people can use it, you know. It's not as loud as setting up one of those pop-up blinds in the morning. It doesn't look as odd as a pop-up blind. But I also enjoy the challenge of trying to draw my bow on a turkey when I'm not hidden by a blind, you know. So, and then I add the challenge of the camera also, so reaching down to hit record. So, but hopefully if we're tucked back in that little hole in the morning, I can reach down and hit record. Hopefully we'll get some turkeys out on this field in the morning. I'm guessing if I put the decoys maybe up next to this field edge, kind of next to the grass right there, we would have a chance to shoot birds that come into the field through that opening. That bird that we saw earlier actually followed us in here. We came in that little trail right there, snuck around the side and got the decoy set right there and got tucked in that little cedar tree right there. It was already kind of cut up. It wasn't, maybe somebody else sat in there before, but the birds were gobbling up here on the ridge, and somehow one of the birds came down behind us off the ridge, down that little maintenance road or access road, and then crossed the road right there and went up on that little ridge right there, then came down through the cedar trees right there out in the field and across the field that way. So sometimes I think some of the jakes out here and some of the younger toms out here are super hesitant to come into a decoy, just because if they're not the one, it's hunters a lot, and the other thing that they run into if they're not the dominant bird is they have to fight if they get in by a hen. So some of them like to keep their distance. So I'm hoping that maybe by putting the decoys on this side up against that taller grass, that if a turkey comes into the field down there and sees it, or crests the ridge right here and sees it, they'll actually start down the hill or skirt the edge of the field over there, and they'll actually hopefully have their eyes on the decoy, and I'll have a chance to draw the bow on them, and it'll put them under 20 yards in front of that little cedar tree blind. So that's my perfect world layout, I guess. But if you've ever turkey hunted before, you know that you can set all this stuff up the night before and sneak in the morning, and the turkeys will fly down right behind you in the woods and walk right to your back, basically. So it just happens like that sometimes, or somebody will come in and put a stock on your decoy. So I don't know, we'll just sneak out. I'm going to listen for birds gobbling farther to the east of us as we work our way back out the road, and then I'm going to make sure I know my route to get back in here in the morning. So and try and come in quiet without a light on. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to pack everything up and head back to the Jeep.